Yeah.
So our first trip with Take Me to the World was, we went to India, didn't we? How was that as a family trip? Adam?
It was amazing, eh?
Yeah?
Yeah. It was, it's one of those places that I probably would never have thought about going to.
Yeah, I like the food.
Yeah, really so good. It's always the first thing that comes to mind.
Every day there was some little surprise, little sort of Easter egg that had been built into the trip that you just didn't expect.
Yeah, we could spend more time learning about the culture and eating the food and meeting the people than worrying about, where the next bus will ride. The hotels that we stayed in were top class.
Yeah. On that trip we just had our van, our driver and Nats.
And when we went down to the beach and you guys were all swimming in beaches because you're all swimmers and the locals weren't, and they were quite worried about you and that sort of thing.
We didn't have to worry about lifeguards or anything like that. I mean, you can appreciate different languages and really enjoy being immersed in it, but it's good not to have the issue of actually not being able to communicate with anyone.
I think part of it is, it's the same sort of issue when we were in South America with Erica as well, but often there are sort of cultural issues and what have you, and having someone who understands that and can talk to the guide can then help communicate to you about, because you don't really want to make a fool of yourself or insult someone by doing something. So having that sort of one-on-one support on the trip is, I thought, was pretty invaluable too.
And South America was quite a different trip for us because we did India as a family, with Nats, and we hadn't been on one of those big family sort of tours that somebody else organised for you. So when we went to South America, we thought, remember we all sat down and we made a list of what the things were we wanted to see. We were allowed one each when we went to South America, and we talked with Nats about that and Erica about that to try and help us build an itinerary that was going to work for us.
I think the final itinerary was still, it had pretty much everything we wanted. I mean, there was a couple of things we dropped off because of cost, but at the end of the day, I mean, it was still, the stuff that we fitted in the time frame that we had, because you knew someone who could help you manage that itinerary. I think the day that turned out to be one of the best days, which could have been one of the worst days for us in South America, was our not Machu Picchu day.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So we found out that we couldn't get to Machu Picchu on the train because of the people that were blocking the rail, and then we found out that we could drive, but we couldn't probably get in the gates. And it would have been a whole day, and Erica worked really hard with all of the local guides coming up with an alternative, and we saw so many fabulous sites. And our little local guide that day took us to 2 or 3 different sites that were all fabulous when the buses weren't there. So he said, no, the tour buses all will get at a certain time, we'll go after the tour buses, or we'll go before the tour buses. So he was invaluable as well. Well, the water feature park we went to though, that was pretty cool. And Erica, she said, no, you'll love this, and you weren't looking forward to it. You thought, no, it's just.
I thought that sounded.
Fountains. It won't be that cool, and they play some music and they're coloured. And
that was one of the Easter eggs you found. It's like, wow, that was such an amazing experience that I wasn't sure about. When you get up and you're not sure what you're going to do today, everyone next would say, and I've got a little surprise for you. And I'm not going to tell you, but we'll just see. And then we turned up, and it was elephant riding. Rock riding elephants. So that's again an amazing experience.
And you wouldn't have known. You're just driving up through the bush, and all of a sudden there's a big
So if you had to do the trip yourself, you'd have to have organised that.
And the other thing that was great, and this is down to Nats's wife really, organising all the restaurants and all the food that we had to see and taste and experience when we were in India. Going in where we saw the breads being made, the guys sitting up on the top
and the food was just being brought around, and there were mountains of it. Oh man.
And he just kept filling your plate and just kept bringing out bread, and that was just gorgeous.
Remember the big swimming pools? Where was that one?
250 metre long
250 metre long swimming pool.
It was in India.
Mahabalipuram.
With a bar at one end. It was good. Up the mountains and saw tea plantations. It was completely. It was like I didn't even realise where I was, and you'd swap
And
That
we did
was
such a
amazing.
small bit of India too,
Yeah.
you know, that tiny little V at
But
the
they
bottom
really
of India. and
squeeze in as many different aspects of it as possible. And it was the same in South America. I mean, we went to different countries, different environments, different cities, and they were all completely different, you know. Yeah.
You know, I think that's the thing about India, you know, which has really given me a taste to go back, because you realise that, you know, it's not one big country that's all sort of homogenous. It's like a whole lot of, you know, hundreds of countries all crammed in together with all different languages, different architectures, you know, different, even the Hindu temples that you'd think would be the similar, are completely different from one province to the next.
I think having that process where we sit with Nats and Erica and we explain to you what it is that we would all like to you get to know us, so you know what we're up for really in a holiday, and then you design an itinerary that's what we expect, but has those hidden gems that we've been talking about. It's just a little bit special, and it sounds great, and the best thing is it's executed excellently. So when we get over to those other countries, everything that we expected happens. We have already, Nats recommended Take Me to the World.
I would say, you know, given our experience with Take Me to the World, you know, I couldn't think of anyone better to recommend. So I'd highly recommend Take Me to the World as being your, you know, travel partner. And you know, we'll definitely be talking to Nats again about our next trip.